So you're thinking of moving to Pickering, Ontario? Well, don't do it. Absolutely don't. No, I'm just kidding. If you're thinking of moving to Pickering, there's a lot that you need to know, especially with what's going on in this market right now. It is absolutely crazy here in the Toronto area. So especially in Pickering where everybody wants to move. So if you're thinking of moving to Toronto or even Pickering, more importantly, then you're going to want to watch this video all the way till the end, because that's where I'm going to give you great things that you need to consider before you even move to Toronto or Pickering. And we're going to get into it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, working, eating, sleeping, playing, the good and the bad of living in Toronto, Ontario, or even Pickering, which we're talking about today, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about the current market in Toronto. My name is Rochelle. For the last 7 years, I've been getting calls and emails from people just like you looking to make a move to Toronto, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, just give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'm happy to help you make a smooth move to Toronto. So as I mentioned, a lot of people are moving to Toronto and Pickering. Of course, Pickering is one of the most popular suburbs in Eastern Ontario. We're getting a huge influx of people from the city and elsewhere in the GTA and Ontario. There are people moving in left and right. And hey, I'm happy to help any way that I can. However, this has caused a bit of activity, you could say, in the market. And I know a lot of other markets are experiencing this as well, but Pickering in particular, because of its more affordable real estate, considering it's so close to the city. And so that really complicates things, because what we're seeing right now, and just so you know, we're moving into February 2022, I don't foresee this to let down anytime soon. Especially because, things are always picking up in the real estate market. But as we head into the spring and summer markets specifically, that's where you're going to see a lot of activity in the market. That's where you're going to see the highest volume of activity. And so what we're seeing is that the demand for housing and home ownership, that's going to grow even stronger this year, even more so than last. We're seeing multiple offers. And again, I know this is the same in a lot of other areas as well, but in particular in Pickering, we are seeing multiple offers. I've seen as high as 40 offers on a home. I've seen homes go for $100,000, $120,000 over ask price. And now I'm not saying this to scare anybody away. I just want you to be aware of what's going on in the market right now. I mean, is that the case every single time? No, but it is pretty close to it. So it's important that moving forward, you don't make any moves unless you know how to navigate the market. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So first things first, what we've been seeing a lot of recently, especially during this hot market, is waiving of financing conditions. Because, what makes your offer stronger, people are trying to get these houses. Now, something I just want to caution you on, because this is what we need you to understand before you get started. Let's just take the financing appraisal, for example. So what that means is, let's say the home was priced at 1.1 million, let's say, and you try and offer 1.15 million to try and win the bid. Well, if that home only appraises for 1.1 million, then that means that you'd be responsible for paying the $50,000 difference that's over the asking price. Now, normally in a buyer's market, let's say, when that happens, you would see the seller would adjust accordingly. That's how it would normally happen. So if you had a house that was at 1.15 and it only appraised at 1.1, you'd be on a very strong side of the negotiating table to say, hey, well, we need you to reduce the price to 1.1. That's how it would normally work. But in this market, what that means is you offer 1.15, you waive your financing condition, and the property only appraises for 1.1. Like I said, you need to be willing to pay the $50,000 difference. And so think about that. If you're doing, say, a conventional loan or even one with 5, 10, even 20% down, you're still going to put that down payment on your home as well. That's a lot of cash that you're going to need in hand. But if that's something that you want to do, you want to go that route, it's not something that I necessarily encourage. I do want to help my buyers in any way possible, and I've been able to find creative ways to still get the deal done, which doesn't necessarily involve that. Although be fair warned that in Pickering, in this market, it almost has to happen to at least give you an opportunity to even be considered. So that's just something that we want you to be aware of and mindful of, that understanding your budget is absolutely critical. Now, something else that's really helping us if you're moving here, and again, I work with a lot of out-of-town buyers, so if you're coming from Toronto, Mississauga, even outside of the GTA or elsewhere in Ontario, which is where we're seeing the greatest influx, that that we do everything that we can to make your move as smooth as possible. But one of those things is that I like to do to get my clients set up is start looking for properties ahead of time. It's likely that those properties will not be available when you get here or when you visit. And so what that allows us to do is actually see what you like, what fits your style, so that we can narrow down your search. And then whenever you do get here, that way, if you only have, say, a day or 2 or 3 here, then we don't want to drive around all over the place to the wrong neighborhoods, to the wrong houses, right? We want to try and really narrow down what's going to fit your needs, your lifestyle, your budget, your style beforehand, so that we can utilize your time wisely and only visit communities that actually make sense for you. That also allows us to check out the inventory ahead of time, look at the agents that have those listings, maybe make some phone calls on top of that. And so, we start to work ahead of time before you even get here. That's what's really important, is that we do all of the pre-work beforehand. And then once you get here, I help you navigate the system. But on top of that, we also want to get you pre-approved. A lot of people tend to have pre-approvals from the province or state that they're in right now. But one thing to understand is that it's always better to work with a local lender, especially the ones that we've partnered with. They actually have a name in the Toronto area. And so on top of that, our lenders will actually call for you on your behalf. That's an extra phone call that we're really seeing helps a lot. Whenever they call the other agents and they let them know, hey, I vetted this person, they're solid, their financials are in place, we can close quickly. That just adds an additional level of credibility. And plus, when you have a broker that's known here in Toronto, that's going to make your offer look a lot stronger to the seller too than, say, if you had a pre-approval from like a local bank or something like that. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I'm just saying that, it doesn't look as strong an offer. And so that's just something that you want to keep in mind. Another thing that you want to have in place in the market right now is a decisive mindset. Because when offers are going left and right and decisions need to be made quickly, speed is your friend in this market. So once you get here and we find a place that you like, then you're going to submit an offer. If we don't put in an offer that day and have the pre-approval in place, then we're likely not going to get that house. Okay, so that's just something that we also want to prepare you for, is that, we don't want to rush anyone or pressure anybody into doing anything. But at the same time, we do need to urge you to make a decision a lot quicker, because, before, it was kind of like, hey, let's think about it. Let's go for lunch. Let's have dinner. Let's sleep on it. That sort of thing. That was the old market. The new market today, the winning strategy is hopefully you have a good understanding of what you like, what fits your style. And then whenever you do see it, you say, okay, this is the house, let's make a move. You're not sitting in indecisive mode because, like I said, time is of the essence. And something else that I tend to stress with my clients is that, I know that everyone is always looking for their forever home, but at the same time, worst case scenario, even if you find something here and it's not, 100%, it doesn't meet all the things that you're looking for in your dream home, well, at least when you get here, you've gotten to that point where you've saved enough that you can build enough equity in your home, and then you found a place, and there's likely going to be some appreciation there. I can't guarantee that, but what I'm saying is that even if you were to hold on to it for 2 years or live there for 2 years, you're going to get a better feel for the area. You're going to get to know everything so much better. You might find that after some time, you may want to be in another area. And I understand that you don't want to be moving all the time, but at the same time, you could always sell that house, which, by the way, I could help you out with too. But the reality is that even if you ended up selling that house and moving into another neighborhood, then you have some wiggle room and not finding the absolute perfect home, but at least something that's going to meet your needs and be really good for you and your family for the time being, then that, also keep that into consideration. So at the end of the day, being flexible is really going to help you as well. And then here's another key point. We're actually finding a sweet spot with new construction. So if you have flexibility in your timeline and you're trying to get here within a certain time frame, we can work with that as well. What we can do is we can show you some new construction projects, because the key thing with new construction is that you don't have to get into bidding wars with other buyers. You're dealing directly with the builder, and it's normally a first come, first serve basis. Therefore, we can find you a home that meets your needs. Maybe it's going to be ready in a month, maybe it's ready right now, maybe it's ready in 60 days or 90 days, which is more along the lines of whenever your timeline is to move as well. But we've got great relationships with a lot of builders in the area, and we've been pretty successful at finding new construction for our clients. Plus, you get a brand new home, right? Who doesn't want a brand new home? And so even with new construction communities, or especially with new construction communities rather, they're always good because normally they always appreciate, normally. So even if you do buy and you're only there for a couple of years, then you're likely going to be able to sell later with no problem. Plus the community and the area, that's all going to be built up around you, and you could possibly make a little money off of that as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. But overall, what you want to do is basically, we want to help you the best way possible, any way that we can. And so to do that, we really try our best to get to know you ahead of time, understand your needs, put you up on a broad search, and then we can work together to try and narrow that down so that whenever you do get here, we can maximize your time wisely, get you pre-approved beforehand so that when you do find something, we can move quickly and get you that home. Then from there, all you gotta do is just move in, get settled in. I can help you with that as well, but that's it. So hopefully you found this helpful. I don't want you to be concerned about the real estate market. I mean, it is really crazy right now. But I want you to know that I've got your back. No matter what, I'm going to do everything that I can to make your move as smooth in the best possible way. And so again, I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please comment below. Let me know if you have any comments or questions. Again, this market is really crazy, but it is navigable with the right help. And so if you're planning on moving to Pickering, I would love to help you out. Just give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or even schedule a Zoom call, all down in the description below. We can schedule a Zoom call if you want to meet in person before you actually get here. We can do that too. I always like to put a face to the name, so that would be great. So until then, make sure to check out this video. It rounds out all the top neighborhoods to move to in Pickering, but I hope to see you guys around town. And until then, stay safe everyone, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.